Fear is an uncomfortable emotion we all experience at one point. But fear in the role of leadership is an important emotion to understand so that you can overcome anything that is holding you back from succeeding and feeling confident to be a leader. Hi everyone, Evette Rose here, founder of Metaphysical Anatomy Technique, which is a graceful, gentle healing technique that's designed to help you to improve your quality of life, to shift trauma, ancestral trauma, depression, anxiety, self-sabotage, secondary gains, or even just fears. And this technique is graceful because it's designed to help you to shift these stress factors without having to relive the trauma, without needing to know the root causes of it, without also even needing to talk most of the time about the problem itself as well. And you can find out so much more at evetterose.com. And welcome here to today's video where we're going to be talking about how to crush your fear of becoming a leader. Because let's be honest, fear is something that we all have experienced. I know that you have, and absolutely I have as well. I've had sleepless nights sometimes because of fear. And fears can sometimes really ruin your quality of life. Your mind runs away with you, your emotions run away with you. And at the end of the day, a fear really truly starts to become something that you actually manifest. You start to see people and circumstances that's actually reflecting and validating these fears for you in your life. And of course, as you know, it's not the easiest state of mind, to create greatness. It's not the most, creative place to be in to create your dreams and your goals and whatever it is that you choose to aspire to, because fear is the opposite of feeling motivated. Now, I want to talk a little bit about some of the most common fears that we might also face, and especially when we try to become a strong leader. And remember, when I say leader, I don't just mean, circumstances where you have to lead people. This can actually also mean where you are now becoming your own leader, which we all are at the end of the day. Number one, some of the biggest fears that we have is what's called the imposter syndrome. And this is, of course, now the fear of people seeing you as an imposter, where your insecurities might be making you feel that you're not good enough and that you, for example, that you can't really create the influence that it is that you want. And many people actually experience the imposter feeling at some point, but especially leaders, because a lot of people have their eyes on you and a lot of people depend on you. Now, what I've come to learn here, this imposter syndrome is normally because there's a part of you that might have felt that people didn't believe in you. Or it could be perhaps, parents or people that you looked up to said to you, "Who do you think you are?" Sounds familiar? That definitely rang true for me. Now, also another point here to look at is fear of being criticized. Guys, if you want to be a leader, criticism is going to be part of it. It's going to be part of it, and we have to learn how to handle it. Because now, for example, if you're not receiving it, then you might not be taking as many risks. Learn how to take criticism by just having your own level to excel at and to meet at, instead of trying to, raise your expectations to where someone else's expectations are. Because at the end of the day, being a leader is not about what other people expect. It's about a collective set of expectations that you create for yourself and your team, and that you all aspire and move towards. Because you can also, for example, be everything, but you can't be everything to everyone. So it's important to keep the balance in that perspective. Then we also have failure, fear of failure. Now, fears around failing as a leader, it's normal. We all have that. I have that too. Who doesn't have that? But at the end of the day, to also put failure in as a matter of perspective. Because for me, I've actually come to learn in my career that failure doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. It's just an avenue that is now being shown to you that's not being as lucrative or not as supportive to where it is that you want to go. And just a different approach, or maybe a different attitude, a different mindset is needed for you to move into this new phase that you want to move into. It's just a moment telling you, hey, let's reassess. That's it. I invite you to replace the word failure with reassessment. Well, that's at least what I do. So see if what I do also works for you. Now, another fear, another negative that we have here is that not being good enough. And also perhaps not feeling like you're a good enough communicator as well. Because remember, communication makes the world go round. And it's a very important key part of being a leader. It's hard to be a leader if you cannot communicate. And it's not even just verbal communication. It can be through facial expressions, verbal communication, communication through email as well. At some point in time, you have to connect, you have to express and communicate what it is that you want. You have to give instructions, you have to give intentions as well. So, and I mean, a lot of us have maybe challenges and stress associated with communication. Not everyone is a great born communicator because it could be there's childhood trauma, there's stress associated with it, there's maybe something that happened where someone attacked you or criticized you when you were expressing yourself. The reasons can be endless. Now, another negative aspect is making hard decisions. Making hard decisions. And also being decisive can also then, for example, be the difference that makes a difference of a business, or a team or organization that you're trying to create, and the success between that, being successful and perhaps just needing a different reassessment. See how I rephrase that? You know where I was going with that, but rephrase. Absolutely rephrase. Now, it's very important that knowing and understanding and making decisions it's a normal part of life. Guys, you've been making decisions from the moment you were born. It's just that the more conscious we are of decisions, the more we feel the potential impact of it. When you get up and you go to the restroom or you go brush your teeth, that's a decision. It's a decision. But you're not having a panic attack over it, right? It's the value that you add to the decision that you make. So keep the value balanced. Keep it balanced. Yes, absolutely, there can be consequences. Yes, absolutely, there can be ramifications. But at the end of the day, when you have to make a decision, what I love to do is I think, okay, now I have to make this decision. What is the best 3 possible things that can come from this? And what is the 3 worst possible things that can come from this? And then for each worst possible thing that can come from it, I actually write down 3 plausible solutions, constructive solutions and steps that I can take to rectify that problem. So at the end of the day, you have a reality in front of you, but you're spoiled for choice with solutions. Because what you fear is not the mistake itself. It's not having a solution. Be prepared. It can really actually be that easy. Another part also is, and this is a phase that I also went through in my life, which we all go through as leaders at some point in time, is not taking responsibility. Because the more power that you have and the more power of responsibility that you have, the more it's something that you can actually try to avoid at the end of the day, because it is stressful. It can be emotionally overwhelming. But knowing and understanding the proper clear definition in terms of what you really truly are responsible for and what you are not, where is that fine line? Define it. Stop waiting for people or circumstances to show up and give you examples of where things starts to blow up, that where it now forces you to define it. Skip that step. Define it. Black and white. Lay it out. Another negative point can also be that can, make you feel like you're not a good leader sometimes, is not getting things done, right? There's so much more focus, but that's going on to results in the leadership world. This is why it's also very important to have your eyes set on a clear action, clear intention as well. Because at the end of the day, when you're not getting things done, you're dealing with some procrastination issues, and maybe we need to look at that. There's a reason why we procrastinate. We don't do it for the sake of, it's fear of failure, it's fear of this. Sometimes it actually can go much deeper than that. And I do have great videos about how to make the right decision, because normally procrastination is about making decisions. Now, another one point here that we have is that's really important to explore is to get perspective, guys. What are the facts and what is it that you're making up in your head? Let's be real. Another one also here is fearing the fear. Fearing the fear, because you need energy to energize the actually resisting or fearing the fear. When you feel that wave of cortisol, that wave of adrenaline, it takes a lot of energy. And that's all being projected when you think of the fear. And now when you think of the fear, your body biochemically reacts and you resist the fear even more. Ooh, you lose a lot of unnecessary energy. Train yourself to let go of fearing the worst. Whose voice is that anyway? You might actually find that's probably mom or dad. It's probably mom or dad. It's not your fear. It's just not your fear. Another point is also to practice courage. Every day, do something that you don't normally would do, but I'm not saying, something, extravagant or something very serious. Graceful, gentle steps. Take it easy. Graceful, gentle steps. Do things that sometimes would make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, and you can start by doing it in the privacy of your own home. And then start moving it more towards, with friends and maybe with colleagues, and until you start to realize, well, hey, this is actually not that bad. Rewire yourself for resiliency and not for oversensitivity. Also, recognizing your fears if they, for example, now occur and by the time when they are triggered, and to practice mindfulness over these fears. How much of it is really truly connected to your immediate reality? How much of it is connected to a perceived false future that you've now made up in your mind because you're scared and you're thinking, what if, what if, what if? Or how much of it is actually being triggered from past experiences, which is just not real anymore? But the body remembers, but it doesn't mean that it has to continue to be brought into your present moment. So guys, there you have it. Rock and roll away. I believe in you. You are your own best leader. And whether you have your own business or whether you're a leader in a business or whether you're our own leader, at the end of the day, even if you're a mom, you're a friend, a partner, we are all leaders. And we dip in and out of these characteristics and these strategies in our lives. So let's make the absolute best of it. And you don't have to throw yourself in at the deep end. You just don't have to. There's absolutely no need for that. And so I trust that this information was helpful, and keep asking these really great questions that you guys are always asking me. I love answering them. And guys, also, until next time, be the light that you are. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm sure that you learned a lot. So guys, subscribe to my channel here and also hit the notifications bar, and so that you can get notified every time when I upload a new video. So guys, also remember to share the video and also look out for courses that I have below in the description bar. And until next time, be the light that you are.